meeting to order. We'll start with a prayer. Dear wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of serving the community. I pray you give us wisdom to govern, a sense of the true needs of our residents, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony. I pray for the agenda set before us tonight. Please give us an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our village of Hicksville. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our calendar's on March. Calendar's on March.
Thank you for coming to the special council meeting. May we have a roll call, please, Cheryl?
Baker?
Here.
Barth?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Kratzky?
Here.
I'm going to turn it over to Mike Barth.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Tonight, we asked for a special council meeting to take a look at rates and the total loan debt for Phase 1 projects for the water and sewer separation here in the community. First of all, I would like to thank especially Roberta from RCAP being here again this evening. She spent a lot of time and energy crunching numbers, looking at the different loans and values and our budgets, our revenues and our expenses, and she's, like I said at the last meeting, she's been a great help here for our community and for council and the committee. I also thank Kent and Cheryl and Diane for giving her some information that she needed for these numbers that she will present. So I did not know if you wanted to go. We had two kind of things on the agenda this evening, and that's the Meyer site planning and elevation tank design bid that they presented for the water tower. Jessie was going to be here tonight. I know she had talked to him about some things. Oh, she's just coming in. So do you want to do that first? You want to go into the rates and, pardon me?
I'd get her.
Get going so she can,
Yeah.
she's been here a long time.
Yeah, that way I won't be mad through the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pass out some information, so don't jump ahead of me. Okay, so essentially you have three things to consider regarding this.
Could I get you to use a microphone, please, just for the benefits of the residents?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Thanks, Roberta.
No problem. Like I said, you have three items for consideration here. You have the loan rates and terms that we're going to be looking at for the upcoming sewer improvement projects. You have items with balancing your budget, and there are funding for future projects. And what I mean by future projects, I'm looking at the Haber Drive, Bryan Street, and High Street projects that are part of the Phase 1, but I have them broken out because they're bidding at different times. So for this first major discussion, we're just going to talk about the Antwerp, Ogen, and Columbia Street projects so that you guys can get an idea of how you want to handle them. But I did also provide you with some information on the second set of projects, just so that you can see how this Phase 1 is going to impact you. So starting with the loan rates and terms, when we first started talking about these projects, we were looking at the Ohio Water Development Authority's what they call the Community Assistance Program. Part of the requirements for that program, in order to be eligible for that rate, your combined water and sewer rates have to be at least 2.6% of your median household income, according to the most recent census data. So the American Community Survey census data that we have for you, which is from 2014, but there's nothing newer than that, is 35,074. So that's the number that they're going to be looking at. And they're going to base their determination of eligibility on 4,500 gallons a month. And they do that for every community. That's just their criteria, and that's how they do it. You look like you have a question. Okay. So for you guys, that means your combined water and sewer rates have to be $75.99 for 4,500 gallons in order to be eligible for the program. Under your old rate structure, we met that threshold, so it wasn't a concern until you changed your rates at the end of last year. So you are off by about $9.05 to meet that threshold. So if you look at page 3 here, the funding scenario spreadsheet, which I think you've all seen, I have broken out for you, and I did it based on a 30-year term. You can take your loan out for anywhere from a 10 to a 30-year term, and once you set your term, you're stuck with that until it's paid off. There's no prepayment on this loan. So that's why I was showing you the 20 and 30-year last time, but just for comparison purposes, I used the 30-year term. That's the maximum term, so that's the best deal you're going to get. So if you look at the Antwerp and Ogen Street projects, which are in the first 2 columns, the first column shows a 30-year term at their market rate, which is currently 3.05%. So over the life of the loan, you're going to pay $2.23 million on that loan money. The second column shows the Community Assistance Program, which is at 0.55% currently. The life of the loan is going to cost you $1.5 million. So you're looking at a savings of about $700,000 over the course of the loan, but it does reduce your rate from $3.99. If you look at that gray box on the very bottom, the impact to the customer is $3.99 to $2.82. So there's some savings to be had there. So it is a good program. The second column or the second set of columns is if you include the Columbia Street project. So if you want to look at that, we can look at that. I know we had talked about paying for the Columbia Street project out of your capital improvements fund. If that's still the plan, we can ignore that. But I just wanted to show you the impact of that project if you decided to fund it with a loan. Okay, so do you have any questions on the numbers that are presented in this comparison? Okay. So the second item that I have for you is your budget. If you look at the first sheet, I have given you the actual financial data that I have been working off of from 2012 through 2015. And just so that you can kind of see it all laid out next to each other, I gave you what I call the 2016 budget. This may not be the actual budget that you approved, but it's just sort of looking at your operations expenses based on your actual expenses over the past 4 years. So I kind of just threw them across and looked at some numbers and, made some estimates. I know if you're looking at the personal services line item, in 2014 you had a little bit of extra expense, but typically you're anywhere from $100,000 to $115,000, give or take on that. So I left that item, pretty much at that amount. There were a few numbers I bumped up, a few numbers I bumped down, just to kind of account for some anomalies. There's no science here. It's just kind of like me looking at your numbers and trying to make a best guess as to what might happen on the operating side for this year. So I just wanted you to consider the operating costs of the system. And if you go down to the bottom, the total expenses of your system have been anywhere from, $925,000 to just over $1 million. And the budget that I've projected for you is like $1.1 million. So it's a little higher than what you've seen in 2015, but I try to account for some inflation and some additional costs, and I try to be a little conservative when I'm making budget estimates. So the second page, going back to the sewer rate options sheet that I showed you last week, I laid it out a little bit differently because I think it's a little easier to see. Under the old rate and using the $1.1 million budget projection from the previous sheet, you were going to have a little bit of a positive cash flow at the end of the year. Under your current rate, if the budget stays the way it's showing now, you're going to have a loss of about $285,000 on, with the rates that I'm estimating you'll generate with your new sewer rate. And then in order to balance that budget, and all I did was calculate a volume charge to balance that, because I don't know what you want to do with your flat rate. But if you wanted to balance the budget, you would have to charge $10 per thousand in order to generate enough revenue to cover your budget deficit. So that's just a number for you to have, something for you to look at and think about, but that's where you're at. Do you have any questions, or do you want to start throwing things at me at this time? Did the numbers make sense to you? Is there things you want to change?
And this is just
for these two projects, this doesn't have anything to do with all the other projects we have to do around town.
No, and those numbers aren't built in yet. I have another sheet for you, but I wanted to just kind of give you some of this information first before I threw it all at you. The last page that I've given you, the sort of the legal size sheet, has the rest of your phase one projects, and I broke them out in the same comparison that you were looking at on the first sheet. So the Haver Drive project, which is estimated right now at $1.6 million, and this is just the sewer piece of it, because this is the money that we have from Public Works. We can only use it on the sewer side. So for Haver Drive, based on, the percentages that Public Works pays out, I took some of the money and put it towards Antwerp Drive, and the rest of the money is shown here on Haver Drive. So you'll have $215,000 in grant money to put towards that project, and $251,000 in loan money to put towards that project. That's zero interest loan for 30 years. And then the rest would come from the OWDA loan program, and I broke it out to show you the market rate versus the community assistance rate. And then the same thing on Bryan Street. So by the time you get to Bryan Street, you've already spent all of your grant money, and there was a little bit of loan money left over. So there was $248,000 in the zero interest loan money to spend on that project, and then the rest was coming from, again, the OWDA program. So altogether, these 5 projects, if you will, Antwerp and Ogen, Columbia, Haver, Bryan, and Main Street, are probably going to add somewhere around $185,000 in debt service at the community assistance rate for 30 years. So I've sort of drawn up what I'm calling the 2018 budget, which I'll give you. Because what will happen is, you will go to construction this year, you will hopefully finish construction by the end of next year, and then your loan payments will be due the following January or July after you finish construction. So if you close out construction in December of 2017, your loan payment could theoretically come due January of 2018. Now, you can ask for a deferment to July because you're just ending construction, but I would anticipate that you would be starting some loan payments in July of 2018.
And that's 30 years.
30 years.
Still pretty good ride.
It's a good rate. It's still a lot of debt, I understand that. I think I calculated somewhere around $6 million in projects for this first phase, which is still better than the 15 million you were looking at before. So we're still a little ahead of the game, and I understand that we have more projects to do, but we've got a little more time to spread those out. So this is the first thing that you're looking at, because once this phase 1 projects are done, at least as far as your long-term control plan is concerned, I think there's several years before we have to, because we set it up that we would do this long-term control plan phase 1 project, and then we would monitor for a year to see how much water we've removed from the system, and then we would proceed with phase 2 projects based on the results of that monitoring. So there's a little bit of time in between projects to hopefully help you recover.
Yeah, we're hoping for a lot of water, groundwater, surface water to be removed.
Yeah, I hope so too. But unfortunately, I think we spent a lot of time planning and putting these projects together, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on what to expect, but unfortunately we won't know until it's all said and done. But, okay.
And again, with these projects, that last phase 3, and that's many years down the road, was that rapid treatment system, which was a large expense to the overall project cost when EMHT designed it. The more water we can take out of the system through all these projects, getting up to that point, and even some CMOM projects, which is going to cost money, of course, but hopefully, maybe, we don't have to build that system in the end, and EPA, the plant will exist, and we don't have to build that system. And we've all talked about that.
Yeah,
all these discussions.
That's certainly a possibility, because I think that was like a $3 million item
Right.
at one point.
It's one of the biggest expenses we had overall with.
And I really feel that your money and your effort is best spent on the collection system. I mean, that's where you have the worst problems, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. So you've got a really nice treatment plan out there. It's just not quite enough, unfortunately.
Kim, was that what numbers you were talking about? Because I talked to you earlier, and you were looking at overall the 6.1 million, right?
Yeah, I came up with around 6, I just did a rough estimate. The Bryant Street and the South Main Street projects are from a little bit older cost estimate, it's from 2014. I talked to the consultant, he didn't have any updated numbers on that project because they haven't really gotten to work on it. So I just kind of went with those numbers, so hopefully once they get into final design, we'll still stay around those figures. Which I think they've been pretty good with the cost estimates from the preliminary to the final design, do you think, Kent? I know it's been a long time since we started talking about these.
I came up with around 5.6.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to add it in my head, so.
The one thing I would like to see is we have to raise the minimum a little bit, and then the water instead of just the base like where it was. I think we think that.
So if you wanted to say split the difference and raise 5 on the base and then
Yeah.
add the rest to volume?
10 or whatever.
I could calculate, what those charges would need to be if you wanted to do that.
If you're a large user, like right now, a small lady living by herself paying, well, now 15, but if it goes up maybe 20, 25, and then usage.
So are you talking about you want to do a tiered rate where larger users
No.
would, oh no, you just want, okay, so you're saying people,
Make it simple.
okay.
If we just left it alone, it'd been fine when the,
I agree.
Well, I don't want to comment, Ron. But, I mean, the numbers are leading towards, your old rate was pretty much dead on where your budget is. So it would have kept it stable. So now you're going to have to look at making some incremental increases to get up to where you need to be. I don't think it's fair to, drop the rate $20 and then turn around and, shoot it back up $20 on people. We've got a little bit of time before these loans come due, so you can do it in a more gradual approach. But of course, it's up to you guys to decide what you want to do with it.
I'll refresh my memory here, because when you set this application in, we have to have that rate in place.
You have to have the $75.99 in place. So if you want to get the community assistance rate, I can still get you the money, it's just going to be at the 3%. You have to, raise your rates $10 basically in order to meet that threshold. So if you want to do a small increase on the base charge and then an additional increase on the volume charge, I can calculate that for you and tell you what that number would be.
But what did we drop it, $17? Was it 17 or 17.50? Total number we got?
Well, 35 to 15.
Yeah.
It was $20.
5 and it went down to
$20
15.
difference.
$20.
So $20, yeah.
So raising it back up 10, which is exactly where we need to be
For the
currently.
beginning, phase
to
one.
get the application through.
Right.
And then if we added 2%, 3%, whatever the Bernie tells us we need to achieve the goal by 2018 or 17, I would be in favor of that. I don't want to be part of it.
And your idea, Ron, is
Raise both the base to get there and the water usage.
how much you're saying raise the base?
10. Yeah, I don't have the.
Well, if you raise the base 10, you don't have to do anything else right now.
But we need to increase the rates a little bit each year, instead
Yeah.
of 5, 6 years, and then hit them hard with 20 or 30%. Just a little bit each year.
A little bit each year, yeah. And I can calculate that for you, what, it would
10
need to
would
be.
cover, 10 extra on the base.
If she does $10 somehow right now, then our application will go through.
That's.
Right.
At the lower interest
At
rate.
the low, at the 0 interest. Do that, this is what I'm
Not
thinking.
zero interest.
No, it's basically zero, it's half. of the percent.
0.77?
Yeah.
It's down to 0.55 right now.
0.55.
If we do,
Right, yeah, right now it's
10,
0.55.
get it up to where we're
It went
being
down from
accepted.
last month.
And then Roberta can tell us, okay, then now you need to raise it 6% a year until 2018 or whatever.
And what is that, what is the old, or the other rate, 3.3? So you're talking about
3.05 is where it's at. The rates, let me say this, the rates adjust monthly because it's based on the market. When they get their loans approved every month, they go out and they buy bonds to cover them, so the rates will adjust. But that community assistance rate is typically around 1% or less, and then their market rate fluctuates between generally 3% and 4%.
Well, the savings, I mean.
Huge savings.
Isn't the savings $700,000?
Over the life of the loan, yes.
Yeah.
It's a significant savings.
It's
I mean, yeah,
That's a 30-year.
30-year. Now, I could give you some numbers on 20 years if you want to look at the payment on 20 years, but you can take 30 years.
Not that low interest.
Okay, okay,
Never seen it yet,
yeah.
low interest.
Since the other projects aren't ready for, well, they're going to bid and everything, since we just have these three or the two that we're gonna put on this first loan, is the OWDA acceptable to add these other projects within the next, they open to that to get the lower interest rate, you see what I'm saying?
Well, you would have to apply for each project as you go along, and you would still remain eligible for the community assistance rate, so whatever it is at the time that you apply is what you would get. Because they base your loan application on the bid tabs, and then they throw in a contingency, and
We had to arrive at that median household income figure. For each phase that we go into, will we have to recalculate to get that figure again?
if the median household income number changes, it would change your threshold, but I don't see your number changing significantly.
It's a pretty drastic economic happening to do that.
Yeah, I mean, when these numbers first came out, when they first switched to this American Community Survey, the numbers were ridiculous. And they've seemed to have leveled out. I've seen a lot of median household income numbers kind of come down to what seems more reasonable to me. But, I was looking at one community and it was trying to say that their median household income was like $84,000. And I'm like, please. So it's taken, 10 or 15 years to get there, but they finally did, kind of work out the kinks of that. So I think the 35 is reasonable for you guys, so I expect it to stay within that range. If it jumps up significantly, we'll talk about it. I'll let you know right away. Because unfortunately, you can't do an income survey for this program. They don't accept them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The only way you'll know if it jumps up is if you do an income survey, right?
Right, so the American Community Survey, they apply all this statistical analysis to these numbers, and they come up with updated numbers every so many years.
We don't have to go door to door like we have.
Right, it wouldn't be worth it because nobody will take it.
Right. I don't know the answer to it.
Ken, what's your thoughts on that? Crunching numbers?
Who's crunching numbers?
I don't know. I'm looking at all of phase one together instead of breaking it down. Because I've got throwing out that $1 million for, the three projects. I still think you're looking at borrowing about 4.1 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I guess that's my next question is, what do you want to do with Columbia Street? And then the South Main project is about a $600,000 project. So do you want to finance those?
I think we should. We have some money. I think we ought to finance something. It'll save us from the long-term debt.
If your total debt, let's just say on these groupings of projects is $6 million, and you guys say, we want to put $1 million into this, wherever you put that $1 million, doesn't matter. But you should set a target number that you feel you can contribute to the projects, and then I can back that out and recalculate the impact.
Well,
I know.
It's my opinion that none of us are going to be sitting here when this is paid for. And who knows how much money this community is going to have at that point in time? Why would we want to straddle those people with a bunch of debt if we can take care of it, some of it by ourselves now with the money we've got?
Well, how did we decide to pay Columbia out of pocket anyway?
I think from the very beginning, when we started that whole project, we talked about funding that. Through.
Of course, it's from 80 to 600.
There was something else we had talked about.
Ocean Street.
Ocean.
That's going to happen soon.
Ogen and
Definitely paying for that ourselves.
Antwerp are out for bid right now, from what I understand. Is Columbia Street also out, Kent?
Yeah, Columbia, Ogen, and Antwerp.
Okay, so those three projects are out for bid right now.
I think, just real quick, I think we're all in agreement is the $10 increase. Nobody wants to increase anything. We all
Yeah.
at this table. But
In order to get that money.
absolutely, with the savings we're going to have over the course of the year. So I think we need to have a strong vote on that because it's ready to pass. We get that passed and then take it.
Definitely need a vote, so it's on record.
Right.
So you're saying right now, that's all we need to go, the 10 to get us on board.
$10 to get you into the community assistance program, and then we can recalculate
We
from
need a lot
there.
of assistance.
And like I said, through all these projects and even down the road for phase 2, I mean, there's some other grants that we could try to go after and
Yeah, we're going to continue to look at other funding sources for you guys. I still would like to see if we could complete the income survey, because that's $500,000 in grant money. So, and you guys overall, I mean, according to the census, you're like 46% low to moderate income, and you have to be 51 to qualify. So, it is worth the effort to go out there and do that, but, I'll talk to you about that later. We don't have time for that now.
It's always been a struggle here.
I know, it is hard. I mean, I've got communities that are really struggling to get surveys out of people, but if you can get, most of the surveys collected and the numbers are in your favor, we can still work with that, even if you don't get them all, but you do have to get most of them. So, but I'll leave that off the table for now. If you guys want me to, I guess my question is, do you want me to look at raising the rate on the base and the volume, or just the base? How do you guys want to do it? Because I can't
We
calculate
just
the
talked
volume
about
charge.
$10, right?
Go to base.
$10.
$10 on the base.
Okay,
If we need to raise per gallons, and then we'll raise that later.
okay.
That's, we need a motion to get that started. I'll make that motion to raise the base 10.
Troy Essex will have to bring back legislation to
Right.
make it official, but if you want to take a vote, you can.
Okay.
he said he would do that when I talked to him on the phone before the meeting, so I'll second that.
Ron Jones, Mike Barth made a motion to increase the base by $10. Roll call, please.
Kratzky,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
It's a yes, no type thing. Hate to have to raise the rates, but
Just so you're aware, we started this discussion at our last meeting, and I thought that we put a lot of stuff out there for the residents, but it never got on the TV station, so this is going to be new again the discussion's going to be fairly new to people who watch it on TV.
If I can just refresh everybody's memory, we looked at these rates kind of at the beginning when we put that $35 in there a couple years ago. And it's hard to come back and change it and then reflux with the amount of debt we're going to have with the project.
When did we reduce that? December?
Yes.
It became effective in December.
So 5 months ago, you dropped the rates. Somebody sitting here said, don't do it. You're gonna break ground and you're gonna need it. And here we sit. This is terrible.
Any other discussion regarding this or anything that you want to ask Roberta to?
Well, I guess I just want to be clear on, we want to take the Columbia project out of the financing scenarios, correct?
I think that's the one we can
Okay.
handle.
We can handle it?
Someone
handle
mentioned
it.
the Ogen Street project. I have an estimate of $746,000 for that one.
It'd be cutting them real close to pay for them both.
Okay, so we'll leave Ogen and Antwerp in this application, and then we can talk about the other projects when we get ready to apply for those funds. Okay? I feel like I'm always here telling you guys bad news, so I'd like to come back and tell you some good news sometime.
Minus some more grant money.
I'm trying, but it's...
Roberta helps us on the
out
first
there.
grant process
It really is.
with $1 million earlier.
So the paper drive cover sewer and the ditch, but not the water.
The water's
But not the water
Water,
lines.
we're paying out of pocket.
Okay, so I won't talk about that.
We just have to keep all that invoicing separate when they
Yeah.
do it, so that.
What is the total that you have, that we're currently thinking of paying ourselves? Water lines in Ocean Street and
Heaver Drive water lines around 437 ballpark. Columbia Pearl will be 511 and change. Ogen was gonna be 746.
so we're 900 right now anyway.
Out of pocket.
Well, we got money in the water and the income tax water. It's gonna take a big hit for future years, but we won't get into that.
What's that mean, income tax water?
Well,
that mean?
Capital projects comes out of income tax, is paying for part of it.
But you know, for all those years when we had those rates a little higher, we should have been pigeonholing some of that money for these projects that we're doing now. I mean, we were generating a couple $100,000 a year in those days.
Where's that money at?
Well, it's still in the fund.
it's
The
still in
fund's
the
got a lot of
fund.
money, but you're gonna also be writing a couple big
Well,
checks right
Well,
now.
you already have that, you're paying off of over $300,000 a year, that's
Yeah, because I
also
was,
where it's going,
I was
because,
figuring I could be way off, because I was lumping all 4.1 million plus that 500,000 we gotta pay back, even though it's 0%. But I could be way off, but I think once we start paying debts back, counting what we currently owe, you're looking at about $566,000 just in debt payments for anywhere from 12 to 30 years.
And that includes your current debt too, the 300?
Yeah, I mean, that'll fall off and what, that's still got like 12
Yeah, that's still
years.
a little bit down the road.
That's 340.
340.
And I think my numbers are a little conservative, but I mean, that's a lot of money to generate to pay back debt service, gets on the sewer end.
Well, but this council's been dragging its feet on these water and sewer issues for how many years? We could have a lot of this stuff done a long time ago, but nobody wanted to act, and I'm glad, Mike, you're pursuing it aggressively to get it going.
Just a
We
thought.
don't have a heck of a lot of choice.
Yeah.
We used to.
Generate money, just throwing this out. Our income tax right now is 1%. No, I'm just throwing it out.
I'm gonna burn my phone.
Well, if we would go, we can raise it a quarter, right, without,
no.
we can't now, we used to be able to, right?
Yeah, well, through-
Yeah, used to, but not
Now
now.
it has to go on the ballot. Okay, scrap that. Because that's right there, be 250,000 a year. People that come here, use it. Okay, forget that.
You gotta remember,
Okay.
we'll be on the ballot for fire.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out.
Does anybody else have anything else for Roberta, any questions before she leaves?
Yeah, I just want to thank Roberta for all the time she put in this. She was at her second meeting today, and she's been amazing and very helpful.
You're very welcome.
For years.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jesse has a question.
All that had to do is sewer rates. Are we doing anything with water rates? Not so much just for you, but for
Right.
all of you?
No.
Has that gone into any of this at all?
No, the last time I looked at water rates, I made the recommendation that they take the 1,000 gallons off and just charge the base rate with the, and then all the usage, which pretty closely balanced your budget at that time. Yeah, at that time, it's been a couple of years. So, I mean, I'm happy to take a look at it again if they want to,
Up to them.
but right now, I think,
Well, if the committee wants that done, then we can ask her to do that. Sounds like it's.
I think I heard the rate
Really
a
out of
little bit,
curiosity, I
Chair.
didn't know if that was any part of that at all.
not recently.
I think she's got enough on her plate right now, let's just.
I
get
think,
this
let's
rolling.
get this done here and we'll worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta go to the post office, find my save the date cards.
They lost them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks, Roberta.
Okay, so I will update all of these numbers and email them to you guys.
Okay. Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Be careful going on.
safe, yeah.
And she talked about
Hey, Mike, you're still on.
Still on the number two part of this meeting was the, again, the water tower site plan that was, the committee went through with Kent and Jesse. Again, we had several Momentum firms submit applications. We got down to 3. There was 5 of us who graded them. Pogemeyer came out on top, I think, by 2 points with all of our testing and scoring and everything. So they all had great presentations. Just like I said, when we added up all our numbers, Pogemeyer's coming. So this is the third part of that phase, was their bid proposal for the site plan and tank design, and that's in front of you. We have not sat down and talked to this because, like I said, this is the third part. I needed to bring it to council to see if you guys are willing to accept this bid from Pogemeyer and or reject it. And we can have discussion on it and go from there. Oh, Jesse wanted to add anything? And I know you told me on the phone real quick and started body before the meeting, but we had some reservations or concerns about their bid proposal, and you addressed that.
Some of their wording that was in there, talked to them, got it resolved, they said write the copies to Ken, so I believe that's what you guys are talking about. Wasn't any major issues, just some things that weren't cleaned up before it came here.
And again, to reiterate, and you guys, we don't build water towers every day, but this is all part of the process.
Neither does Pogemeyer.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Compared to who?
About any of the other architectural firms around here.
The ones we interviewed, they were that's the most.
Now, I've talked to a lot of different people in a lot of different towns around here since I found out that you people have selected Pogemeyer. And everybody has told me that this scoring system that you use is about as worthless as the paper that you're scoring on.
But we have to.
It's the legal process.
But because you jot this down on a piece of paper, you need to apply common sense. Swanton won't even let Pogemeyer back up there. I'm 99.9% sure it's Swanton. It's Swanton or Metamora, one of those towns up there. Because one of the legs on their water tower was collapsing. And if any of you that were here when I first got on and Pogemeyer was doing every single thing in this town, never taking bids on nothing, Jordan just go, I'll get a hold of Rick. I found all this stuff out. Spent a lot of time searching for it. And I'm telling you, and I don't know why I'm even wasting my breath, because every time I say something around this table, you people won't listen to me. You think I'm a moron or something. But the worst thing you can do is hire BDG to do your water tower. The price is going to be a whole lot more than what's on that piece of paper, and it's probably not going to be right. Go take a look at your stoplights around town and tell me how right those are when you drive through another town and see what they look like when they're sitting on the correct side of the road.
Well, on that issue, there was nowhere else to set those. You couldn't have set one at Bruce's corner, you couldn't have set one at Slattery's corner.
That's like somebody telling me, well, you can't put a V8 in a Vega. The hell you can't.
Well, council, and this goes back 15 years, council could have paid to have a whole bunch of stuff moved to accommodate it, but I don't think it was gonna work. But that's beside the point.
Does anybody that did this testing and talking to everybody, do you feel as though that you achieved really very pertinent information that you can really base everything on?
I went by experience.
Whose?
Theirs.
Theirs. And you have a lot of experience picking out water tower
No,
contractors.
I went with the company they put up compared to the rest of the companies.
I've done a lot of research on these people.
The other companies are right there.
That's fine.
Some of them are none.
I'm voicing my opinion, and you people just do whatever you want to do.
I know over the course of time, you've been sitting on council for many years, and many of you have also, and you've dealt with Pogemeyer before. Some of us have never dealt with Pogemeyers in the engineering parts. I have never, to a degree. Kids have hired them for some side projects. So again, the grading, I don't think it's somewhat fair all the time, because it's a sales thing. They're coming in and telling you how well they can do, what they can do, how many they've done, and every one of those engineering firms did that kind of thing.
How many firms did you guys talk to?
We had 3 at the end, but
We had 6.
We had 6 submittals.
yeah.
Only 6 companies submitted it.
Like I said, one of them, one of the finalists, I asked them when they were here, and they've done
Did you talk to Fellers?
2 towers.
That's who I
I
said.
which in the paper, so people see it, and then I sent out 9 to the companies that I knew of that responses.
Was your purpose of putting this on the agenda tonight just to bring it out in the open?
Absolutely, because like I said, we're going through the different, not the avenues, but the protocol to hire a firm to look at where to put a tower and what's the best place.
I think we ought to put this thing on hold.
What? And could we do that with, up to this point in time?
Why?
We're spending a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's not gonna happen for about 3 years before you first shovel.
3 years is about when we'll start making them $500,000 payments.
This is a bad time to me. I mean, do we need a water tower? I think we do. This one isn't, you know, we spend money on it and it's not getting used, you know, kind of thing, so.
These communities, and that's just a.
Kent and Jesse, I see you looking at each other. Why don't you just tell us what you're thinking?
All I'm thinking is, we just got done saying councils for years drug their feet on some other issues, so if you want to repeat the mistake, I don't care. It's up to you.
All this contract is for.
We got
is
mistakes sitting out there by the ball field.
What we need, what we don't need, where we're at. System analysis that's never been done in this town, that should have been at this point. What that contract is for doesn't include any bill. I mean, whether it's Pokemon or whoever, what that initial contract is for is the analysis. To see where we're at, where a tower could go, do we have the land? It's to answer all those questions that we don't have answers for right now. Because you cannot go forward until this is done. So that's all we're asking for this initial phase. That's what that
Phase
contract-
one.
Yeah, the phase one would be that.
This is not building a tower, this is figuring out where we're
Yeah, but
at.
look at phase two, that's $75,000. Phase one is just a couple of houses.
Yeah, but, well, and this, any of the companies we would have chose are gonna have a contract similar to this, as far as the scope of services, so I'm not saying, well, this is exclusive.
Who built our water tower system?
Bill Engineering.
Seems like you guys used him after he's goofed up. And I'm gonna say, all I can speak for with Pokemon are my 15 years, and I really don't care what avenue you take. I really don't. Other than when we've changed our scope of services with the downtown, we've not had change orders on the engineering, then that applies to Jones, Henry, Feller, Finch when we've used them too. They stayed at or under their contract price, so is Jones, Henry, and the other ones we've used. As far as I know, water and sewer departments are happy with what's been put underground.
Well, here's something, Kent.
So a ball field 30 years ago, well, okay, fine. I don't know what other gripes people have.
Kent, here's something that Roberta stood right there and just said 20 minutes ago, that we have a really nice treatment plant down there. It's just not enough treatment plant for this village. Now, there's set a man right there in about that second row, and I've got the tape at home that he says put on the third ring, and you'll never have to separate this. It'd be foolish to separate.
No.
Huh?
I'll dig out the contract books when you guys signed to build the plant. And I'm not here to start a fight. I really just don't care anymore. The contract to build that plant was phase one. It clearly said phase two is separating the town. That third ring was meant for any future sanitary growth the town would have. Even EPA would say you could not add enough rings on there to treat that 55 million gallons that we bypass. It's impossible. And that's right in the contract documents the council voted on. I'll take them out if everybody wants to see it.
Talking about water.
I believe you.
Well, I'm just saying, that was part of the contract.
Well,
I think we need to move forward with the water tower.
Thank you for explaining that too, Jesse. That's good information to
I don't
know.
want anyone to be misled that we're jumping into
Building.
building a tower in a month. This is the preliminary stuff.
When we first started talking about this was a hot item. This was something we needed to get done. This was something that we'd be foolish if we didn't take care of this right away. And all of a sudden, people are saying, wait, I don't know, I know we got a lot of other bills going on.
Well, we thought at first that we had a problem with our current
The
tower.
initial information we were given.
Yeah, we've got a few more years, but this is also gonna take some time.
So our tower is usable?
Not both at the same time.
We can't
never
use
has
both at the
been
same
since the
time.
new one was built.
Right.
So that doesn't even enter.
So we can keep getting by the way we have for a few more years, but this whole process, if I understand right, could take anywhere from 2 to 3 years from start to finish. So it's not like, don't wait 2 to 3 years and then expect to get it done in 6
So we don't need to make a
months.
decision tonight.
Well, to get started, we could.
Troy will be bringing legislation at the next meeting, correct? Monday
Well,
night,
that
so.
depends on, I guess, what you guys want. I
You guys
guess,
do need to decide if you want to entertain this contract.
Right.
yeah, because I gotta get back with them.
Yeah. And now to do it.
You don't need to vote to approve the contract exactly until Troy comes forward. You guys need to decide if you're willing to move forward in that direction, or if the committee needs to do something else.
Yeah, because the problem we're gonna have, well, the situation we're gonna have, if, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Let's say Troy bring legislation Monday night to hire Pokemar to do this. If council would vote no, then we gotta have, you could vote no on that, but are you still want to proceed with the tower, which means the two companies that tied for second place, we'd have to get with one of those two to give us a contract. Well, which of those two do we pick? Because they tied. Or you throw this all out, and a year from now, you start the whole stupid process over.
So we need two votes. One, if proceed with Pogmeyer and start phase one. We're going to start with phase one.
Well, if you vote no on Pogomar, but you want to move forward, and then we got to figure out what.
So that'd be two separate votes.
Sounds like it.
Well, you could vote down the ordinance that Troy would bring Monday night, no, you don't want to hire Pogemeyer.
That's what I feel.
And it would be, and you could, make it clear that you do want to proceed with the tower. And then they would have to decide which engineer of the tide, second and third place, if they were going to.
And legally, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I thought we already had a straw vote to go forward with this.
We did.
That's why we got engineers involved.
And spent a lot of time on the interviewing.
Don't say straw votes, those are illegal.
No straw vote.
So can we vote on to keep going or not? We'll have to wait till Monday with.
The vote council took before was to move forward with the interview process. I mean, that wasn't necessarily a straw vote,
We've done
right,
that.
like you're talking about.
Well, we agreed that there was enough of an issue that we better get somebody to take a look at it for us.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's what council voted on.
And the issue is who we got looking at it.
Well, I mean, I respect the committee for interviewing people, but I would vote no against Pokemon. It's my own belief, personal. Been on here for, 9 years now? I would vote no.
I would vote no.
I think so.
9? Or you were on before?
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to throw this in the
Actually, more
table.
than that.
In the short time, and I've been here a short time, and some of you have been here a lot longer, and it seems like every engineer firm we have burps and hiccups, and they aren't doing it fast enough, or they not
I don't
doing,
think
in a way. But we all have faith, like and I've only worked with a couple, in a way. And there's
I
some
don't
things.
think we've had any problems with any of the firms that's been in here in the last 5, 6, 8 years.
No, I'm just saying like little hiccups, like for instance, EMHT, we weren't moving, I didn't think they were getting things to us.
I think the only thing with the EMHT is we kept changing our mind.
Right,
changing the
absolutely.
program
We
on
kept
it.
coming back, and I told them, well, we kept coming back to the table because, Ron was, the frontline guys, Kent, and we had, Jesse, we said, is this what we want to do out here? So we got back
I
to
don't
the
think it
table.
was EMHT's problem, it was our problem.
What
Kind of
would it
thing, so.
cost the village to throw this out, have another opportunity to submit a proposal and do it again? Time-wise, I know it's going to take time
Proposal for what?
to have the
You have the whole
interviews go.
process.
Would it go through the whole process again, or would you go to the next engineer?
Yes.
The
And
tie,
they would
I don't
submit,
know how you break that tie.
well, there's gotta be some type of
How did you decide
there's
on
gotta be a way to take care of
I
that.
tallied up all the scores.
No, I mean, on this paper, the way we did it. Where'd you get that idea?
I'll give you those scores.
Yeah, but where did you get that?
idea, that is the approved process.
Okay, so
No.
they don't have a rule for the next.
When did that become
So-
effective?
Long
I mean, can't Troy give us a legal opinion on where to go from here? Because I don't want to start over with the whole bid process. I want to look at number 2 and number 3.
Never used it on your sewer plant.
Can we vote tonight on home owners or?
No.
No.
Vote on anything.
It's got to be legislation.
Wait till we get it back and see where it falls.
But what they're asking, Ron, is should this be on, should Troy bring this for us to vote on next Monday, I think is what the question is.
Yes.
Sure. Make it
I think
official.
you have to vote on it, you get day one being closed.
Yeah, there's gotta be some sort of
You
vote.
can't just let them offhand without something official before moving on to the next.
Well, why don't they bring it and then everybody can have their voice Monday?
You can do that.
We have 2 separate votes.
And
No, I think it's only going to be one because it'll be the proposal that Troy brings. They're either going to say yes or no.
to the engineer,
There-
hiring the engineer.
There will only be, I'm not an attorney. I don't know how long it'd take Troy to figure it out either. If you vote no on Pogemeyer,
Does anybody like Feller and Finch that sits here?
I don't have.
I've worked with all of them, so
Do
I,
you?
I've worked with all of them too, and I mean, on the job, I've worked with them.
That's the one I
And I would-
voted number 1 for. That would be next on my,
Feller and Finch.
I missed it. What'd you say?
is that who?
Feller and Finch.
Do you have a problem with him? You didn't like Pogemeyer, so do you have a problem with
I
him?
didn't say I wouldn't proceed with the process. I just think, you know, we need to read a little.
Kent, you were telling us something. Would you finish, please?
okay, if you vote no, Eliza, I'm not gonna cry or anything else if you do. I really don't care. I'm just trying to be objective. So if you vote no on them,
If you want to proceed with the project, you can start all over.
I think that would be the safest.
And have the other 2 finals come in for an interview,
I think
probably?
you'd have to start all
Start
over.
all over.
Otherwise, the other
Send them back
firms
out
that
again.
were on the bubble could say, well,
Yeah, they get
this,
a second chance.
Cause some lawsuit.
look how many hours all it took. So if you vote it down Monday night, then I think you should also take a second vote canceling the whole concept.
All the
Okay.
existing.
And then, I'm just throwing a number, I'll say 6 months later, if you want to revisit it, then,
I wouldn't stop the process, I would keep it going. I wouldn't start all over 6 months from now, I'd keep going right now. With brand new submissions.
Well, I'll vote the same way.
well, I was gonna say, you're gonna get the very same thing
You
for
very
the
well
first
may.
time.
You very well may. Then you can't keep ignoring it.
It may pass Monday.
Well, I don't know, I'm just throwing options out there.
Well, I understand what you guys have gone through. I've been through that process a number of times, and it's painstaking, and you do your best to come up with the best available out of all of them that submit.
Well, yeah,
But there's
because
such,
what could happen, even if you start the process over, they could resubmit their statement of qualifications, so how would they score lower the second time than they did the first
Right,
time?
exactly.
And then you're gonna open that can of worms. Unless you've got a new committee at that point that's doing the.
Yeah, new committee.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. People on the, and I'm not saying you gotta.
Drag it out to the first of the year.
They're gonna be wondering, how did we score lower the second time around when we came out on top the first time around?
Well, it's easy because people like Sheila that have just came on board, she's never been through the process. Now that she has and she knows what to expect, she's done a little research and she's changed her feelings about a few things. That's just
Just throwing that out there, right
throwing
now.
that out.
it's an observation.
Okay, well, I think as it stands, Troy will bring legislation Monday night that will be voted on.
And he
And,
should be prepared to guide us through this one.
well, I assume that Kent will get a hold of him and tell him what the
We
issues
were
may
trying to
be.
guide you.
And it'll come to fruition Monday night.
There you go.
All right,
That's all I have, really. Thank you for your time tonight and coming to a special council meeting, and Jan and Pete.
Well, thanks for staying on top of it.
Thanks for having us.
thanks for coming, everyone. Motion to adjourn the meeting will be,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will help him with it.
Mr. Headley, Mr. Beverly, roll call, please.
McCrasky? Jones? Headley?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Thank you.